Who are the best dictators of all time? Who made their people suffer the most? To find out, we need to go back in time, the first ever dictator, to ancient Rome.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
Titus Lartius was the first ever dictator. He used his powers responsibly. He kind of came into power against his will, and dictatorship in ancient Rome was more of a failsafe against neighboring states and crisis. He was granted absolute authority to respond quickly to any crisis because everyone trusted him fully. No bullshit, no abuse of power, no wars happened. Just him and his sense of responsibility. He stepped down as soon as he no longer saw a need for that kind of power, which is exactly why he's lowest on this fucking list. He did not kill enough people. By the way, I'm ranking them based on how cool their deaths were, how many they killed, and how fucked up the regime was. I want tyrants. Now fast forwarding to 240-something BC China. China was still divided into 7 different countries. War was constant until someone finally went, fuck this, and decided to conquer all of them. This someone was named Ing Cheng, who became king of his homeland Qin at the senior citizen age of 13 years old. After saying fuck you, and fuck you especially to all the other states, he successfully unified China after only 15 years of war. How many people died in this conquest? Yes. After that, he started making China great again. He said, we're gonna build a wall. And so, he built a wall. He said, let's build roads, and so he built roads. He said, let's build a massive terracotta army to defend me from spirits when I eventually pass on. Wait, what? A massive terracotta army to defend him from spirits when he dies? Yes. And so he made a massive terracotta army to defend him from demons in the spirit realm upon his death. Besides that, he burned scholars alive to protect his narrative, and there was a lot of forced labor with heavy taxation. He gets the highest honor on this tier list.
Super idol 的笑容都没你的甜，八月中
It wouldn't be until 1922 when dictatorship started to get hated and associated with fascism, because in that year, the founding father of modern fascism, Benito Mussolini of Italy. Why'd I do this fucking Italian accent, bro? That was so racist. Benito Mussolini of Italy came into power. Basically, Mussolini is pre-patch Hitler. If every dictator after Hitler asks themselves, what would Hitler do? Then Hitler asks, what would Mussolini do? Unlike Hitler, Mussolini was very anti-war. Then he had an idea. Why not use the war as an excuse to promote socialism to all of Europe? If it furthers my interests, fuck it, let's do it. And so he founded the fascist movement in 1919 and eventually he became prime minister. Then he led a paramilitary group called the Black Shirts who just about decimated all of his political opponents and intimidated voters to continue voting for him or else. After conquering Ethiopia and Libya, he aligned himself with the Axis. After the defeat of the Axis, he was captured and executed in 1945. Fun fact, before all of this, he was a teacher, so imagine finding out that your chemistry teacher, Walter White, is the leading meth distributor in the country. In practice, Joseph Stalin was ideologically opposed to Mussolini's fascism, but in practice, well, not so much. Here's a quick lesson. Fascism sees that the state is above the individual and socialism is focused on equality for all citizens. Fascism cannot exist in a democratic form. Socialism can. Here's a ChatGPT list of differences because I'm too lazy to make one myself. Yeah, so Stalin hated fascism, but he's a fucking liar. Cult of personality built around him? Check. Hyper-nationalism? Check. Militarism, state-controlled rights? Check and check. So basically, it's like the same fucking Valorant skin, but in a different variant. When Stalin came into power, he laid out a 3-phase plan, 5 years each. The first plan was for rapid industrialization, which was cut short by famine. The second for infrastructure, except he kinda sent millions of workers to the gulag. Yeah. and the third for militarization, but instead he got invaded by Hitler in the biggest betrayal in modern history. Stalin's officers were also so scared of him they were falsifying their reports so the government didn't know there was a massive fucking famine until it was too late. Workers who couldn't fulfill the insane quota were sent to the gulag. It's like a fucking dying company that still wants an intern with 10 years of experience, dude. So by the end of his tenure, Stalin was so fucking scared of his own men that he purged 80% of his generals and tortured his doctors because he thought they would poison him. And on his deathbed, he was alone. Nobody bothered to check on him, and when they did, he was already dead. Which, in my opinion, is the mark of a great fucking dictator. Moving to 1933 Germany. It's time for everybody's favorite dictator, ladies and gentlemen, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. It's Hitler, Hitler. Undoubtedly the most controversial world leader ever, Hitler is the #1 enemy of humanity even nearly 80 years after his death. How about we go over his accolades? Hitler has, #1, a failed painting career, 2, a kill count of 6 million Jews, 3, charisma so intense that he effectively gaslit an entire country into alienating an entire race, and 4, the award for the greatest hater of all time. He hated Jews so much that you'd think that he was in love with them. It's rewind time. But before that, Hitler was just your average kid. His dad beat the shit out of him every chance he got, so he was very dependent on his mother from a very young age. She was like a moral compass to him, but eventually his parents died. And with no moral compass, Hitler took the Germans and Jews problem and made it everyone else's problem. Germans and Jews have a lover's quarrel, Hitler makes concentration camps for Jews with ADHD, ends up killing 6 million of them, whoops, goes ahead, kills all of the people he doesn't like, including schizophrenics, depressed people, ugly people, and old people, you know how this goes. And then World War II happens, Germany loses, instead of getting captured and executed and going, my treasure is yours to find, Hitler went, okay, I'm going to kill myself and my wife now, goodbye. Rating and impact-wise, he gets an 88 out of 100. He's the single most hated world leader in all of human history, and he single-handedly increased the acceptance rates of art schools worldwide. This man gets his own tier.
I was gonna build like a fucking farm here, and you build Auschwitz!
1939 Spain saw the rise of Francisco Paulino Hermenegildo Teodulo Franco Bahamonde, who was a leading figure during the Spanish Civil War. See, during that Civil War, there were two main sides. The nationalists, who believed in pure authoritarian power, full of conservatives and monarchists. Meanwhile, their opposition were the Republicans, who believed in socialism. And so my man Franco asked help from Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy to secure the win for the nationalists, and then kept his power for about 4 decades. During Franco's time in power, he isolated Spain from trade in the 1940s, and God knows that's obviously a good idea. He did other dictatorship shit too, like kill people, blah 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 blah, you know the drill by now. Then upon his death, he sought to bring back the monarchy, and so he appointed the prince, heir to the throne, Juan Carlos Alfonso Victor Maria de Borbon y Borbon dos Sicilias as his successor. But instead, Juan Carlos pulled an Uno reverse card and started the transition to a constitutional democracy. Unlike other dictators on this list, Ho Chi Minh is seen as the symbol of liberation in Vietnam and the father of the nation. He opposed the French and Japanese occupation, led a rebellion against them in World War II, and became the leader of North Vietnam. Despite technically being a dictator, it felt like he wasn't one. But the rest of the world sees him a bit differently because he was the leader of North Vietnam and the US supported South Vietnam and was opposed to his views of pro-communism. Crazy motion. Everybody knows Kim Il-sung is the man who created the world's only family dictatorship dynasty. He implemented a class system based on blood, so if your family was good to him, then he was good to them. Loyalists were the highest ranking in this class system, and, of course, those who opposed them were the fucking lowest. If you came from South Korea, congratulations, you are now lower than shit. And this class system is permanent, so if you were born low class, there's no way up, your family's fucked. It's effectively a cult and Kim is God. I mean shit, they have mandatory loyalty rituals that persist until today. People genuinely still believe that Kim Il-sung had superpowers. Such beautiful, beautiful gaslighting. Going forward to China's 1949, we have Mao Zedong, who is famous for the Great Leap Forward copy pasta that gets Chinese people disconnected from every game. Oh yeah, and he's also known as a ruthless dictator responsible for the death of an estimated 30 million people. I forgot about that. He created labor camps for political prisoners, used youth militias to destroy culture and revise history, and had unrealistic production quotas doing his best Stalin cosplay. The Chinese view Mao as like a 70% right, 30% wrong. He reunified China while almost destroying it in the process, like a Qin Shi Huang version 2. And now we move to 1950s Cuba. Fidel Castro is an interesting specimen for sure. He launched a guerrilla war against the dictator of the time and then overtook his position. It was then that he started being seen as a revolutionary hero. He built systems to promote education and literacy, believing that the future of the country is more important than the now. So in Cuba, he's generally liked and seen as a hero. But internationally, it's a bit of a mixed bag because he still had a few human rights abuses under his sleeve. There was also the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 when the USSR hid missiles in Cuba and the US almost went to war with them. But undoubtedly, Fidel Castro's legacy is more on the positive side, apart from the human rights violations, but who cares about that shit? Meanwhile, in 1965 Philippines, life was good under Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Life was so good that the peso was equivalent to the dollar. The economy was blossoming and businesses were booming. People liked him so much that he got re-elected in 1969. Nice. But in 1972, he declared martial law. He suspended the constitution, dissolved the Congress, used the military to suppress opposition, and made people disappear like David Blaine. It was almost like he became an entirely different person. During this period, he amassed a ton of wealth that he sent to an offshore Swiss bank account. His wife also became obsessed with jewelry. All the while, the economic state of the country fell into depravity. Eventually, people got sick of his shit and started a rebellion, ousting his ass from power in 1986. But 3 years ago in 2022, his son Ferdinand Marcos Jr. took the reins of the Philippines, placing the Marcos bloodline back into power by revising history through TikTok entirely. Honestly, a generational fucking run. Upon being elected in 1975, Pol Pot of Cambodia decided, let's do a total social reset, and he declared 1975 as year zero. Year zero was right because 1975 was Cambodia's year zero of dumbassery. You see, Pol Pot was openly against intellectualism. He burned books, outlawed medicine, and forbade foreign languages. He emptied cities at gunpoint and evacuated hospitals. Basically, he was pro-dumbass. He's also responsible for one of the greatest genocides of the 20th century, with a whopping 2 million people killed, which was like 25% of Cambodia's population at the time. Good going, Mini Hitler. Textbook example of how not to rule a country. Saddam Hussein is a man famous for being president in just about every school bag, steak, and Minecraft bunker. He's also famous for declaring war on Iran just after Iran had a revolution. He believed that it was ripe for the taking, but instead the war lasted 8 years and left Iraq in massive debt. During this period, he also used chemical weapons, particularly on Halabja, an Iraqi city occupied by Iran during the war. The Halabja incident is still the largest chemical attack on civilians even to this day, wiping out 3,000 to 5,000 citizens and injuring over 7,000 more. Now, legend says Saddam Hussein is dead, but I believe he's just hiding under your bed. Jumping to 1999, Vladimir Putin has been re-elected 3 times and cheated an election, so he's basically a dictator in practice. He's heavy on nationalism, has suppressed his political opponents, and started a full-scale invasion of another country. If that's not dictator, I don't know what is, man. Kill your enemies? Check. Yup. Rig elections to stay in power? Yup. Suppress the media so they don't say anything bad about you? Yup. Declare war on a neighboring country? Yup. So Putin's lies, deceit, and total bullshit easily places him near the top spot. Let's learn from his example. Going into 2011, the Kim dynasty strikes again.
Lee, hit it!
Oh, great leader, we come to enjoy.
People thought Kim Jong-un wouldn't last. They said the fat fuck was weak. They said he wasn't a threat, but he proved them wrong. The supreme leader is here to stay and he isn't fucking around. He accelerated North Korea's nuclear weapons program, built strategic partnerships outside of the country, destroyed all of his rivals, and maintained the Kim dynasty. And then he put up a bunch of amusement parks so he could play whenever he wanted. I personally feel like he's just a child stuck in an adult's body. Like, bro, he just wants to play. So, these dictators are all notorious names in their own right. But who shall be crowned the king of all dictators? The one true king, the man who puts his dick in taters. We decide using... These 15 dictators will be racing to see who the ultimate dictator is. And we're off! Kim Jong-un takes the lead, but everyone is close behind. Oh shit! Kim Il-sung takes the lead. The Kim dynasty is alive and well. Titus is absolutely squeezing through the tight-ass cracks. But wait! Oh shit! Vladimir putting it in from behind. And Mao's dog is in first place. What? Can anybody catch up to this man? Oh, and that's a wrap. Mao's long schlong sucky sucky fucky one time takes first place. What girth, what a finish. He just left them all in the dust. The balls on this man. Wait a second. We've received word that Saddam Hussein did not finish the race. He's gone back into hiding. You can't write this shit, Johnny. Johnny? Oh, alright. Right, I'm not casting with anybody, I'm just schizophrenic.